We Said It.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Now We Said It. I'm your host, Quisha. Y'all, first of all, I want to apologize for being late with this podcast. I did a little too much drinking on Sunday, therefore I did not even watch the episode until like late on Monday. My body wasn't allowing me to film on Monday. So here I am. It is Tuesday night. It is 11 p.m. I was having some computer issues with my microphone and stuff, but we got it squared away. No problem, no big deal. Let's get right into it. So before we get started, I do want to tell y'all about this wine that I'm drinking. So if you can see, if you're watching here on YouTube, the brand of this wine is called Black Girl Magic, and I'm drinking the red blend. So this brand was created by the McBride sisters, and it is the largest African-American owned wine company in the United States. So somebody I followed on Instagram posted it, and me and my sister ran out and got it immediately, and it was actually quite difficult to get the bottles. It was almost sold out. The guy had to climb on top of, where they keep the extra bottles in the back. He had to go and get us the extra bottles from the back, y'all, but I got it. It's here. Let me go ahead and take a sip to ease my nerves, child. It's a very good blend. I'm also very excited to try the Riesling. I got that as well, but okay. Let's move on, all right? Let's get right into this episode, y'all, because it is late night and your girl is tired, okay? This episode, how do I feel about this episode overall? It was kind of boring. I think we only saw three location spots, but it was also boring, but also very eye-opening, getting everybody's perspectives on everything and seeing how people felt about the situation overall. So let's get right into it. The episode is episode 10, season 5, and it is called Sorry Not Sorry. What a title, okay? All right, Demi Lovato. Should I call her Monique Lovato, okay? Because she's sorry, not sorry, Hanny. So the episode opens up. First of all, let's talk about the preview, or the little recap that they showed at the beginning of the episode. Oh my gosh, y'all, it actually made me kind of sad to see where they are now and where they were before. Monique and Candace hit it off instantly, and it was just so cute. And to see where they are now, it actually made me very, very sad. They wouldn't be housewives without the drama, right? So that is why they are hired to be on this show, because they change at the drop of a hat, and that's why we love them. So the episode starts, it says 5 days after the wine fight, I guess that's what you call it. We see Candace in her house. I don't know what she's doing. There's stacks of plates on her table, like glass plates. Like she's carrying 30 plates. Where did those plates come from, and where were they going? Child, I don't know, but she was rattling the plate, so then they made the rattling noise correlate with wine bottle rattles. She says it's been enough time, and she's been obsessing. And she said, yes, I did. I have been obsessing over this. And we can all relate to that. Something dramatic happens to you, or you get into a fight with somebody or an argument, and you just keep replaying it over and over in your head. So that's what she was doing, and she says she feels traumatized. I'm not laughing because of like the situation, but it's real out here in these streets, y'all. Candace was giving me mean girl tease. Raise your hand if you've been victimized by Monique Samuels, okay? Candace said she has been through a lot. And honestly, you have. When you're older like that, you don't expect for those things to be happening to you. So when they do, it really takes you back. So I understand why she's feeling like that, and I do feel bad for her. She says she thought they were sisters. She doesn't understand what she did to warrant that type of behavior from Monique. And listen, Candace, you know what you did. You hit that Kenya on her. That nitpicky, constant going at, antagonizing, that is what you did. So don't sit up here and act like you didn't have anything to do with it, because you absolutely did. I'm just saying, sorry. Then we shoot over to Chris and Monique's house, and Monique is asking the kids, listen, don't come in my room at no 6 o'clock in the morning jumping up and down on my bed trying to wake me up, because I am tired and I am through and I am exhausted. Don't be coming in my room like that. Monique, lock the door. How about that? I'm just saying, okay, maybe you don't lock the door because it might be like an emergency or something, but if you really are trying to get some sleep away from your kids, lock the door and tell them do not disturb. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if I have kids, it'll be a different story, but I'm speaking right now. All right, let me move on, child. Okay, so Monique and Chris, they're talking about the situation. You can really tell that Chris knows it's Monique's fault and he's just kind of trying not to rile her up too much. He doesn't want to get beat up himself. So he's really, trying to, he's saying how he feels, but without making her too upset. You know how it is when you try to explain to your spouse they were in the wrong, but without trying to seem like you're really on the other person's side. That is the energy Chris is giving Monique. Says she wants to meet with all the ladies, so she calls Karen and asks Karen if Karen will host it at her house because it's a neutral place. Lies. And she just feels it would be better suited if the meeting was held at Karen's house. I mean, I guess. Question mark. If you really want to know whose house it should have been at, it should have been at Ashley's house because she wasn't there. She was in the bathroom. That's whose house it should have been at. Or maybe at the casino where Michael was messing around with that girl. I digress. Okay, so then we move over to Wendy. She's on the phone. She's talking to her husband, Eddie, talking about the meeting. She says that, what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And now we have to sit here and have a conversation with Monique. That right there told me that Wendy was not going to be backing up Monique in this situation. She said, now we got to sit up here and listen to this girl. And I was like, Robin is also saying kind of the same thing. She's on the phone with her mom. She says that Monique is the kind of person that makes excuses for her behavior and she's going to think that everything is okay. I gotta tell y'all, Robin, again, I might be getting ahead of myself a little bit here, but again, Robin is proving to be a really good friend of. Really good. Then you have a scene with Giselle talking to her daughters, and the daughter says, do you forgive her? And Giselle says she doesn't think that Monique is going to feel bad, and she doesn't want to be around her in that case. So they are all on the same type of energy with the whole Monique situation. Giselle, Robin, and Wendy. And baby, let me tell you something. When they get to that meeting, I feel like they had a conversation together, the three of them to the side, because they were working. They were like three little stooges, okay? So even though Monique asked Karen to call the meeting together with the ladies without Candace, Karen still goes ahead and be a little bit of a petty Betty, and she calls to invite Candace over to the meeting. Now, Candace graciously declines. She says that she already spoke to all the women. They already all saw what happened, and Monique has shown that what she's about. She says she's dangerous and some other stuff. I forgot the other words she says, but y'all know around those kind of words. She goes, Karen, it doesn't sit well with me that you're extending this much grace to Monique. And then Karen was like, well, I am a grace under fire. And Candace took a long pause. She was like, sure. First of all, I could see her face when she was saying that. Although we didn't get to see her face, I could see the look on Candace's face as she said that, like, sure. Okay, Karen. Robin's usually late ass was actually the first person to the meeting. And I have a feeling that Robin was just itching and she was so ready to roast Monique because Robin did not forget the umbrella situation. Do y'all remember when Monique said she was going to choke Robin with the umbrella and she was like holding it up to her throat and stuff? Robin didn't forget that. She was like sitting quietly, waiting for her time because she was going to... I think she had a feeling that Monique was going to do this again, and she knew there would be a time and a place for her to roast Monique, and she was ready. She was early. I was very surprised. Giselle shows up with KB, her bodyguard. Bitch, in the previews, I thought the bodyguard was Karen's bodyguard, but no, because, Karen, she's quick to get some security. Security! The bodyguard was Giselle's, and I'm like, Giselle, you really think she's going to try to fight you at a meeting where she's trying to resolve the issue? Giselle was actually doing the absolute most with inviting or bringing that bodyguard. She knew what she was doing and just like making such a big scene out of everything. You did not need to bring a bodyguard to that lame ass meeting, child. Karen says, Giselle, this is the time to ask any questions if you have any for Monique. And Giselle said, I don't have any questions. I just have commentary. Said, bitch, don't let it be me. Listen, I have a million questions for everything, especially if it's something like that going down with drama like that. I'm the one to come to with the questions. I'm the friend that people call to ask if they're having trouble. Oh, what should I ask? Call me. I have all the questions for you. I am very thorough, okay? Ashley shows up with baby Dean. She claims the sitter fell through. Where's Michael? Why does he never have his baby? I'm confusion. I don't like that, y'all. I already told y'all how I feel about that. I don't like that kind of stuff. Both of y'all had that baby. Or did you? Well, yes, y'all did, because that baby looked just like him, child. Anyway, I will say this, y'all. Baby Dean looked cute at the meeting. He really did. He looked adorable. I'm going to go ahead and say this. I think it's very important that I point out every time I think that baby Dean looks cute. And he looked very cute at that meeting. He was adorable. He was tired of it too. His eyes was telling it all. His face and his emotions, he was just as over it as everybody else. He was giving the same looks that Giselle and Robin were giving. Dean said, y'all lying. Can y'all hear my computer? I'm sorry if y'all can, y'all. I try to do my best to get it quiet, but y'all, I think she's overheating. Ashley says that she and Monique got together the day after the fight, and Monique says that she is not proud of her actions. And then Robin says she's lying to you, and then she shows the tweet. Monique put out a tweet that said, ask and you shall receive. Did she ask to be drugged, or did she just say, are you going to drag me? Now, if she would have said, I want you to drag me, then that's a request. But if she just said, are you going to drag me, which I believe is what she said, that's just a question. Just asking. Monique is talking to Chris on the phone on her way to Karen's house. She says that the thing that she is most nervous about is that she feels that the women have already made up their minds about the situation. Of course they did. They were there, saying to Ashley. They saw what happened. So what is there really to make your mind up about? Chris told her just to try to express herself and address exactly what happened. Wendy says that she wants this to back at Karen's house. Wendy says that she wants this to be a safe space, but she also wants it to be a brave space, meaning that she wanted Monique to be completely honest about the things that happened during the fight, and especially the things that transpired after the fight, talking about the tweets, and then they mentioned the thing about the blogs. So I don't know if y'all follow Housewives Tea, but there were a bunch of blog posts about the situation and the fight and everything, and it kind of gave us a little bit of insight as to exactly what happened. And it really did, in my opinion, the blogs I remember reading, they didn't really skew either way, so I can't really speak to if the blogs were really one-sided or not, because I only read like one or two articles. I just kind of really needed to like read exactly like who hit who and were they pressing charges and stuff like that. I didn't really look into reading different multiple articles and stuff like that. Y'all, I only need a few, okay? Just give me the rundown. So Wendy feels like Monique is making black women look bad. She says she gets constant hate every day, you know, being a commentator, and she's never retaliated in a violent manner. Giselle and Robin are in extreme agreement. Their faces, they are nodding hard, and their eyes are wide, okay? Hold on, I'm gonna try to get my laptop to shush because I can hear it, so that means y'all can definitely hear it. Hold, please. Okay, I hope that's better. I moved my laptop further away. One of these days, it's gonna be perfect, all right? Y'all just wait. Okay, so now I have to look at my phone for notes. I hope that doesn't bother anybody. Of course, if y'all are listening on audio, y'all don't give a damn. See, this is why I don't like this on my phone. The text is tiny, and y'all, I don't wear I ain't got on my glasses. Okay, so Ashley seems to be a little bit more open to Monique's side of things, and I think that has a lot to do with, first of all, her not being there, her being in the bathroom, and then of course Monique got right to her the day after. I feel like that might have been a little strategic on Monique's side, getting to Ashley immediately and explaining her side of things. That seems a little strategic to me. Y'all tell me, what do y'all think about that? So, because every time Ashley says something, it's definitely more like on Monique's side and more, she's not quite really seeing the real side of things. Remember, at this point in time, she has not watched the footage back, so she doesn't really know exactly what happened because she's just hearing from everybody's side. And Ashley don't really trust nobody. So I feel like she's picking and choosing who exactly to believe in this situation. Ashley then asked, do we hold men to the same standard? Meaning, are black men expected to behave in a certain way on TV and things like that? And the women just immediately shut her down and said, no, we're talking about black women right now. And then they kind of all go on her saying, black women are the most disrespected, which is very true in this country. And we have to try to protect ourselves at all costs. But at the same time, I don't know that this is the platform to really be how do I put this? Yes, they should hold themselves to a higher standard, but at the same time, we as black women are always holding ourselves to a higher standard. We always have to work twice as hard. We always have to do way more than other people do just to get the same amount of recognition, and even sometimes a little less recognition. I don't know that we should put all that weight on Monique for a snap judgment that she made. I really don't think that Wendy should be putting that kind of pressure on Monique, because you can tell she feels embarrassed by the way she behaved, but we'll get onto that a little bit later on. But I could tell by some of Ashley's facial expressions and the things that she was saying that she might not have had a lot of the same struggles that darker skinned black women have had. Her being mixed race, and on top of that being light skinned. Even lighter skinned women are treated differently than darker skinned women. So when it comes to that, I don't know that Ashley really has the experience to really speak on what Wendy was saying. I see all sides, and I'm just kind of talking about how I feel about everything. I definitely don't think Wendy should have put all that pressure on Monique, but I also think that it should at least be acknowledged by Ashley, if that makes sense. She seemed to be disregarding a lot of Wendy's comments, and that actually kind of bothered me. Robin says that Ashley might have a point if Monique wasn't going around tweeting and acting as if it's something to be proud of, and Ashley didn't have anything to say because she's right. Robin is right. If Monique really was acting like she was really very sorry and really very remorseful, then maybe Ashley could be making those points. But for Monique to be going around and it's probably people pumping her head up. She probably saw other tweets after people read about the fight and stuff in support of her. You definitely should have beat her up. She's so aggravated. When that kind of stuff gets in your head, she's probably like, yeah, I think I did the right thing. And no, she didn't. So then we shoot over to a scene of Ashley arriving at Dr. Ken's office. So we met Dr. Ken last season. I believe that was the first time we saw him, where Ashley was having that atrocious therapy session with her mom, where her mom herself is a therapist but was acting the complete opposite. That should have been recording for how to not act in a therapist's office. Especially as being a therapist yourself, you should know how to speak. And I don't know that her mother, I think we need to reevaluate her mother's license. How is she qualified to give anybody any kind of advice? There is a thing to be said though about children of therapists. They are usually in need of a lot of therapy. Think about it. So she gets to the therapist's office and she is telling him, the events that have transpired. And she's telling it in correct chronological order. She did not black out. So she remembers everything and she's, telling it, how it goes line by line. He asks her, so did you engage her? And Candace says, yes, but... See, that was her mistake right there. Don't yes, but just say yes. Take accountability for something. You also played a part in this. I will go ahead and say this right now. I am on Candace's side, but I'm going to need her to take accountability for her actions. I understand she says what she did doesn't warrant anybody getting physical with her. It's really hard to say that, because if somebody was being in my face the way Candace was, I don't know how good I would be at restraining myself, to be honest. The same thing with Kenya and the Portia situation. She was literally pointing that scepter right into her face, and it's like, when is there going to be some boundaries here? How is she okay to point this thing and wave it 2 inches, not even 2 centimeters away from my face, and nobody is saying or doing anything? So, I mean, it is It is such a crazy situation, but I'm really disappointed in Candace that she doesn't just say, yes, I did engage her. Yes, I did antagonize her. Yes, I did do this, but she's not doing that. She then says that Monique tells her to put her hands out of her face, and then the therapist asks her, well, were your hands in her face? And Candace goes, no, I talk with my hands. That's a lie. Your hands and fingers were in her face. You weren't saying any words. You were going like da 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 and da 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 da, and then like being very close to her face. So if you're talking with your hands, this ain't sign language, sweetie. You need to be a little bit farther back. If you're talking with your hands, she knows she was in her face with her hands. She absolutely was. So she lied at that point right there again, and it's just so disappointing to see, because if Candace took accountability for her part, she would really come out of here smelling like roses, baby. But these really smell like Candace is making it really hard for me to be on her side. I cannot with Monique. So that is why I am siding with Candace. Something about Monique is irking my spirit. So she's explaining this to Dr. Ken, and he is in shock. His mouth is wide open. He's like, he is mentally clutching his pearls, okay? He cannot keep it together. His face, he's like, what? He is in disbelief. Then we shoot back over to Karen's house, and Monique is showing up. I do have to say, I love Monique's outfit. She is looking so cute. She had on this beautiful color blocking shirt with this really pretty lace bodysuit underneath and pink shoes to match, and the bag. I was really here for Monique's apology look. It was gorgeous. Or lack thereof apology look, if that's how you really want to put it. But she looked beautiful. She said, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty, bitch. Y'all gonna look at me. So when Monique first comes in, I don't know if anybody paid attention. I hope y'all did, but Giselle, Robin, and Wendy are eyeing her up and down like, you better be here to really apologize. They were not. You could already tell. And that's why I feel like Monique is very defensive during this meeting. I think it's because that first second she walked in and sat down, she looked at their faces and she already knew how this was about to go. So Monique kind of immediately jumps into the conversation, and she starts getting emotional and she's crying. She says what they saw is not who she is. And then Karen goes over to comfort her, and Giselle is looking like very confusion. She is like, what the hell? Giselle is already seeing what Karen is up to. She apologizes to everyone for putting them in that position. She says she apologizes for putting them in harm's way. And then she said it could have happened to any one of them. And Giselle was like, bitch, who? She looked perplexed. Not me, bitch. And then Giselle starts pulling out her phone to take notes. First of all, that's me all day. I want to remember what was said and who said it, okay? And then Monique gets defensive. She says something to Monique like, Monique said something to Giselle like, we can be self-righteous and get on our high horse if we want to. And Giselle was like, I'm just taking out my phone to take notes so I can remember, so I can comment on what you said. Like, I'm going to let you speak, and then I'm going to talk. So Giselle goes, I'm just getting out my phone. Monique goes, okay, that's fine. But you can tell by the tone in her voice that, in fact, it was not fine. Very condescending. I could feel Monique's energy through the screen, and baby, it was like, it again was disappointing because they are both not taking accountability. They are the same. Candace and Monique are the same, y'all. So she then goes on to explain her side, from what she remembers, what happened. She says she blacked out and she didn't remember anything. But then they cut to a scene of her after the fight when she claimed she came to. But she was recalling events that happened during her quote-unquote blackout phase. So how did you remember repeatedly punching her and pulling her hair down if you blacked out? Did you really black out, or are you just using that as an excuse? I'm just asking questions. Robin and Giselle are rolling their eyes hella hard. Robin pipes up and she goes, you almost had me. So Robin says that the wine that ended up on Monique's face was a red wine and Candace was drinking a white wine. I don't know. I can't really speak to that because I couldn't really tell what kind of wine was on her face. But I will say that Candace's wine did somehow end up on Monique's face. I don't know. I don't know that she intentionally did it. I will have to go back. I need to go back and look at that fight one more time, y'all. But I feel like Candace might have intentionally poured threw her wine in Monique's face. I think I remember her doing that. But even before she threw the wine or did not throw the wine, Monique was already pulling her hair. So that's not even an excuse, because she's using the wine being in her face as an excuse for why she started pulling her hair. You started pulling her hair before wine even touched her face, honey. That's not the excuse to use. And then Robin says that, Monique, if you were so upset, then why did you leak the story to the blogs? Monique says that she did not leak the story. I'm going to go ahead and believe that Monique personally herself did not leak the story, but she told somebody, or she knows somebody that leaked the story, or the story was leaked on her behalf. Presidential Monique campaign. My name is Monique Samuels and I approve this message. She at least approved it, okay? That is how I feel. She knew who leaked it. She might not have done it herself personally, but she knew who did it. It's just the lies. The lies! So then, Robin brought up the tweet and Monique pretty much hit that Nene. I said what I said. Monique said, yeah, I tweeted it. Yeah. So that tells you right there, she don't give a fuck, y'all. She don't give a fuck. Wendy brings it up to Monique about being black women and they were trying to hold themselves to a higher standard by not getting in physical altercations, and Ashley rolled her eyes. Why is Ashley so... I'm telling you, something about Monique and Ashley, they don't like Wendy. I've been seeing it since the lake house. It might have to do with the baby situation. Wendy seems to be rubbing them the wrong way. They are not here for Wendy, okay? I'm not even sure that I'm here for Wendy, because I don't necessarily agree with her trying to put all that pressure on Monique, like I said before. So some points she made I did agree with, but for the most part, it's like, listen, I can't be the one black woman doing it for all the black women, okay? We have to be individuals out here in these streets. Yes, we do bond together and we support each other, but at the end of the day, you can't put the whole weight and pressure of the black woman on me. We are allowed to make mistakes, and that is what happened. Do I think Monique made a mistake? Yes. Do I think Monique thinks she made a mistake? No. Monique knew what she was doing. So then we shoot back over to Candace at the therapist's office, and she says that Monique has gotten her lackeys to tweet and be on her side. And then the screen flashes and shows all the tweets that were, going against Candace, calling her all kinds of names, saying she got drugged and beat up and all this kind of stuff. I'm not laughing at that it happened to her. I'm just laughing at the wording of some of the tweets. So therapist asked Candace if she felt like she did anything to contribute to the fight. Now this would have been the time for Candace to say, yes, I probably shouldn't have been yelling and putting my hands and fingers in her face and twirling around. I probably shouldn't have done all of that. That is what Candace should have said. Instead she goes, no. They are both so damn stubborn. They are two peas in a pod. I'm telling y'all. That's why they don't like each other, because they are so much alike. That's what the issue is. It's just so disappointing. She just cannot take accountability for her part in the situation. So then he says, okay, so let's take the physical part out of it. What role do you think you played in betraying her? And she goes, none. I don't really know if Candace... Okay, this is when she should have brought up the Charisse thing. She should have said, I shouldn't have invited Charisse to my 1 year, whatever that party was, without consulting with Monique first. It's like she's forgetting her missteps and her faults, and that is Candace's problem. She doesn't remember, and I don't think she thinks that her poking and getting in people's face and talking with her hand, I don't think she thinks that's annoying, but I bet you if somebody did it to her, she would probably try to fight them too. So then Candace says that she approached everything differently with Monique this year, and I agree that she did. Then we see a clip montage of Candace apologizing to Monique and being a little bit more delicate with Monique and acknowledging Monique's feelings, and it was a lot different than the way she conducted her friendship with Monique last year. I will give her that. Candace has been trying to make an effort to apologize and acknowledge some of of the things that she did wrong. But when it's coming to this fight and realizing the events that led up to the fight, she seems to be forgetting, because she did apologize for the Cherise situation, but she doesn't realize that that had a lot to do with why Monique was fighting her. Y'all, I do have another question. Why is Ashley at this meeting? She wasn't even there for the fight. Her little opinion should not matter because she didn't see anything. So she's only going off of hearsay and, Monique's side of things. I don't even think she talked to Candace. So why is she at the meeting? She did say that for her, it's important to see how Monique handles this situation going forward, seeming to forget about the tweets and the pettiness that Monique did in between the time and the fight, child, but I digress. And then she said, if Monique was somebody that had a streak of violence, she'd feel differently. Oh, for real? Okay. So speaking of, Giselle pulls out her notes and she says this is not a one-off situation. Then they roll the clips of Monique threatening to punch or hit Giselle. Don't forget, she kept calling her a heifer in a trick. That's not aggressive. That's not like violent or anything though. It's just I'm just remembering. And then she brings up the umbrella situation and then Monique threatening to drag Candace last year. And she goes, and now this year you actually did it. So this is not like, oh, Monique was violent out of nowhere. You've been violent since you got here, sis. I gotta say, that was a good point by Giselle. Monique has been very aggressive ever since she came on the show. Giselle says that she does not stand for what Monique represents. She says that she spoke to her children about it and they told Giselle not to be friends with Monique or not to be around Monique. And Monique says, I will say the same things as your daughter if I heard your version. Monique, you're just supposed to be like listening and taking accountability and soaking it all in. But girl, you can't do it, can you? Monique is only, I don't know if y'all noticed this, but she's only really listening. She's only absorbing the information when Ashley and Karen talk. When the other women are talking, she's being defensive and she's being condescending. She's not really hearing what they're saying. She's only taking it in when it's in her favor. I don't like that kind of stuff. Like, you have to realize there are two sides and you have to realize you have to take accountability for your part in everything. And she is trying to, but her pride is really getting in the way of letting her do that. So then Robin and Wendy are picking up on this and they're like, so Karen, you really just sitting here letting her be extra condescending like this? Do you hear what she's saying? Or do you hear the stuff, the way she's talking down? Like, and so Karen pipes up and she's like, y'all need to lower your voices in my house. And then she kind of tells Monique that she messed up, but at the same time, she's coddling her a little bit. She's like being a little nice, like treating her with kid gloves a little bit. I feel bad for Karen because she really is torn in the middle of this. She is on both sides. She's friends with both of these women, and I understand what she's trying to do, but maybe Karen wasn't the best person to be like the host and the moderator of this, because she's being nice to Monique. She really is. But I also understand her not trying to make Monique feel uncomfortable in her home. But Monique asked to have the meeting at her home. So it's like you have to be ready to be called to the carpet at the same time. And she says she's willing to stand by Monique, but she needs to address it. And Monique says that she's going to talk to her pastor. And Giselle says there's no humility or regret on Monique's face. And then Monique is still ready to fight. You can tell Monique is still wants to get back and finish the fight. You can just tell. And Giselle says that she has no respect for Monique and she leaves. And Monique does that thing that she did at Ashley's, like a baby at the sip and see. She goes, okay, you can leave. So anyway, she tries to immediately start acting like she's switching conversations, but it's like, she goes, okay, you can leave. Okay, so anyway, so like I was saying, it's like, you are very much still in this energy, in this environment, and you see Giselle right in your face. So stop trying to make, that is so childish. It drives me. Y'all, I cannot stand Monique. I can't stand her in this episode. I haven't been able to stand her this whole damn season, TBH, okay? Giselle and KB exit stage left, all right? They dipped out, so she wasted money for a bodyguard that didn't do nothing. He was chilling in the background the whole time. He was probably in the back eating all the snacks, if you really want to know what he was doing. Here's one of the best parts. So Giselle gets in her confessional, and she says that she and Jamal, him being a pastor, they have an image to uphold. What? You mean Mr. Chocolate? You mean Mr. 5 and 6 baby mamas? You mean Mr. cheated on you throughout your entire relationship, including the engagement and marriage? Baby, what image is that? So then Wendy asked Monique if she's apologized to Candace, and Monique said, apologize for what? Monique was dumbfounded. She said, for what? How dare you even ask me that? Monique says she does not care to give Candace an apology at this point. She is still very angry, and Ashley is looking embarrassed in the face, holding baby Dean like, oh, I'm backing this person up? Yeah, a person that is not ready to apologize, and in the end of the day is ready to finish out the rest of the fight. Monique says she can't even look at Candace at this point. She gets emotional and she tries to talk, and Karen interrupts her, and then she gets upset and was like, let me finish. It's like, hold on, sis, chill. This is Karen, okay? But she was getting angry. It's like something in Monique. I don't want to say she has anger issues because I don't think that's what it is, but there's something about it. I'm just very disappointed because I liked her so much her first season. I really did. But this is how it goes in the housewife world. You either hate them the first season, then you like them the next season, hate them the next. So it just goes up and down. Maybe we'll like Monique next season. Who knows, child? So she says that something needs to be said about people that like to pick and antagonize and constantly go at you. And I do agree about that also. Again, Candace needs to be held responsible for her part in this. She's not innocent at all. She says to her, it's just as bad as putting physical hands on someone. Ooh, I don't agree, sis. And neither did the other women. They were like, no way, that is not the same. I agree that it's not the same. But people like that, like what Candace did, they will do that until you hit them because they're trying to get you to hit them. I remember watching that on, you know what, as a matter of fact, I've been watching Rock of Love again because another podcast I listened to, they're recapping the first season of Rock of Love. And the girl Lacey, white girl, did that to the black girl Dallas. She was mushing her, rubbing her body up against her. She goes, I just want her to hit me so she can go home. That's the type of energy that Candace was giving to Monique. It's not, okay, so you're not physically putting your hands on somebody, but you are driving them to physically put their hands on you. You know what you're doing. I don't know that Candace knew or thought that Monique was going to actually put her hands on her. I don't know that I could say that Candace was expecting that or even trying to do that. But again, the question is, so what were you trying to do then? What was Candace trying to do by putting her hands all in Monique's face and repeating herself and twirling on around and making a whole scene? What was she trying to do? And then she says the show and everything has gotten to her and changed who she is as a person, and she might need to take a step back from everything, meaning the show. And some of the women said maybe just temporarily. And maybe that's true, but eventually you're going to have to talk to Candace. Maybe she's right. Take a little bit of time away, come back refreshed, go drink you a bottle of Canis, sis. Really do the work and think about your part in this. And I will say the exact same thing to Candace. I think she needs to take accountability because she's not innocent in this either. And then so Robin actually did agree that Candace does push you to the point of wanting to smack her. But Robin says, while Candace does that, I've never been pushed to the point of physically putting my hands on anybody. Like, I will never do that. I mean, it depends on who you are, you know, where you grow up, the things you saw, and your patience and things like that. You can't expect everybody to behave the way that you do. Monique says that she needs to put her pride and ego to the side, but will you really? And she says again, you know, she's gonna meet with her pastor and all that kind of stuff. They all kind of get up. The meeting concludes. Wendy and Robin are sitting on the couch looking at each other like, what the hell just happened? Like, what did we just sit through? And I agree, because I don't really think it went anywhere or came to any kind of resolution. Giselle was like officially done with Monique. Monique says she wasn't remorseful. I don't really know that there was any kind of resolution at all. I feel like it might have made things worse, actually. Wendy says that since Monique is not remorseful, then she doesn't see her actions as wrong, meaning that she's likely to do it again. I mean, sis, that's kind of a little bit of true tea. So all the ladies leave. It's just Monique and Karen left, and they're having like final words saying goodbye. Karen says that we need to use this moment as a teaching tool for younger black women. We're going to show them why you don't do this anymore. And here's Monique, has to have the last word, the last petty word. She chimes in and says, and tell them not to provoke people. There's always like a little tit for tat. And but she did this too. It's like, okay, she did that too, but please just take your own accountability. Leave Candace out there not taking accountability. Let that be on her, and then she'll look like the bad guy instead of you. Child, a whole mess. This episode. So y'all, that was the episode. So then we get a preview for I believe we get one more episode, and then we probably get like a little bit of a break, and then we get the rest of the season. I feel like that's how the preview made it look to me. Y'all let me know if y'all thought the same thing. But yo, that mid-season preview, we see Karen getting into fights with Candace and or Monique. I can't really tell. Y'all know how they edit it to make everything look different. Then we see a little bit of a scuffle with Michael and Chris, but it wasn't, we see a little bit more later on. Then we have the women going on a trip to Portugal. It does not look like Monique went on that trip. I didn't see her in any of the clips, but again, that could be strategic editing. But I think she might have sat this one out because Candace was there. So Monique most likely didn't go to Portugal. Then it looks like Ashley, of course, is still having trouble with Michael. She can't seem to get a hold of him while she's out of town. Child, please. Then Jamal's being Jamal. He is looking like he's missing a flight or something that looks important to Giselle. Karen's warning Giselle to be cautious. And then Karen says, bitch, that relationship is on the phone. I about died. Then you see Wendy kind of having a little bit of a scuffle with her mom. And I feel like she's giving a little bit of a pushback, letting her mom know that all this work I've done is for you, and maybe, I need to do something for me a little bit. I feel like that's where that's going to go. In my opinion, that's a little bit boring. I really don't want to see that. We see Ray saying to Karen that her fame is getting to her head, which I believe, but I love it. LaDon, bitch. Then Robin and Juan are still being Robin and Juan. They're having non-marital issues, child. They are never going to get married. If they do, Juan does not want to be there. I'm just telling you, I've never seen a man less excited to get married, but willing to propose. You hear me? Like, what the hell is going on? Don't propose to her if you really don't want to marry her. That's like a lifetime commitment. I mean, Jesus. Then we have Candace's mom making a messy return, talking about pressing charges on Monique. Then it looks like Ashley and Candace get into some sort of argument. And then it looks like Michael and Chris, the two baldies, white chocolates. I'm not going to call them white chocolate because white chocolate is like accustomed to somebody like being sexy. White milk duds look like they're about to get into a physical fight. I don't think it's really going to go like that because the way Michael was like backing up with his hands, he's doing like a whoa, like, do you see? He's trying to hit me. I think Michael's doing that type of a vibe. So they're definitely going to get into it. And so it looks like Candace and Chris and Michael and Ashley seem to be having like some sort of a couples argument, disagreement situation. I am very excited. Y'all, it looks so good. If you thought the first half of the season was good, just wait until the second half, y'all. I cannot wait. And I hope y'all are here to join me to talk about it. Please stay tuned. I will have some special guests coming on. I like having guests on the show. It's just really nice to bounce opinions and stuff and jokes off of people. So don't worry. I have some guests lined up. Don't worry about that, y'all. Please tell me what you think about this episode. Whose side are you on? As you can tell, I'm reluctantly on Candace's side. I don't want to be on her side, but if you're asking me to pick one, I'm going to go ahead and pick hers just because Monique is like, I cannot even, okay? But also with Candace, she has a lot of work to do herself and a lot of accountability to take. So if I had to choose a side, I guess I would choose Candace's side. Please let me know whose side you're on and how do you feel about this episode. Also, please give me 5-star and positive reviews here, wherever you listen to your podcast and on YouTube. Write me comments. I really appreciate it. I talk back. Y'all, this has been another episode of Now We've Said It, and I will see y'all next week. Bye.
But now we said it.